Philadelphia is my favorite market. I feel like I can just wake up in the morning and make some phone calls and go make some real estate money and make real estate work for me. I don't work for real estate. I just feel like getting in front of people and them seeing your face, hearing your voice, putting both together, it starts to build like a level of trust that you don't get from cold calling. You're like, wow, this woman, she didn't ask me for anything. She doesn't shove a paperwork for me to sign. She's just literally teaching me the nitty gritty about how to best sell my home or how to buy a home.
Right.
So you just have to be consistent and intentional. I'm like, don't post regularly online for 2 weeks and then disappear for a month. My number one lead gen thing, whether it's to recruit agents or to recruit buyers, sellers,
To the Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez, where we talk everything real estate. Today, my guest is Tess Adams from KW Empower. Tess, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Pat. Thank you for having me.
Great. Okay, so I always start off shows by asking, my guests, tell their story. How did they get started in real estate? I know you wear many hats. You're an agent, you're a team leader, you're a coach. So why don't we just start from the very beginning and tell me, how did you get started in real estate?
Well, I was an accountant and I got hired by a man who owned many RE/MAX offices to be his CFO. So I was overseeing the day-to-day financial, transactions and operations of the RE/MAX office.
Right.
And, that's where my love story with real estate started. And I said, oh, I really like this business. I was overseeing restaurants and other service-based industries, a lot of contractors, but it was my first time getting into real estate and I really liked the whole dynamic of it.
Okay, so when you started, did you just start out as an agent, or were you always in the accounting, in the background of it?
I was in the background for a very long time.
Okay, so then when did you start actually selling real estate?
Well, Keller Williams forced me to, because even though I was already coaching and had a successful office of my own, they said, Tess, you got to get a license to be a pro coach here. You got to at least have a real estate license. And I said, well, if you're going to make me get a license, I guess I better use it.
Right.
So when I got a license, I've already was helping everyone else grow their real estate business. So I just practiced what I was preaching, and I sold a little bit of real estate so that people would say, oh, I guess she knows what she's talking about, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so what came first? Was it the coaching or having a team?
It happened simultaneously.
Okay.
I said the only way that we're going to stand out, because RE/MAX is kind of known to not really take on new agents.
Right.
And when I had my own RE/MAX office with a previous partner, I said the only way we're going to be able to be competitive or stand out, and especially being in Delaware at the time, it's very small, is we got to provide coaching and training and be more hands-on. So the both of us were really committed to that, and that's kind of where my love for doing that, watching all the other agents be able to grow their business, was very satisfying for me.
Right.
So it really happened simultaneously. So it was getting a team, coaching them, making sure everyone's successful, and kind of doing stuff a little bit different so we can be competitive.
Yeah, that is super smart, because the bottom line is, whatever the statistics are, 85% of agents in the first 5 years get out of the business. So without coaching, without mentoring, people just watch $1 million listings and they think, okay, it's so easy, and they just really don't realize what a grind it is. So yeah, that the coaching, mentoring, that is huge if people are going to succeed. I mean, there's always those outliers, but still. Okay, so let me ask you about your team. So how many people are on your team?
17.
17.
Yes.
And they are all in the Philadelphia area, or you have agents all over the place?
I have agents all over the place. We cover 6 different states.
Okay.
So New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, and Georgia.
Okay. So very interesting question I have because of that. Now, what do you see are the differences in each area? Because real estate's local. You could have, like they always talk about Texas and Florida, how there's a ton of inventory, prices are declining, that kind of appreciation is going down, and then you have the Northeast, which is a tighter market. What are you seeing in the different markets that you're working in?
Yeah, Philadelphia is always busy. And I don't know if it's just because of having this coaching background, and my big thing is consistency. So even when everyone else here in Philadelphia is like, oh, I don't have any deals, I'm like, we are busy. And I think it's that consistency that makes a difference. To me, out of all the states, Philadelphia is my favorite market. I feel like I can just wake up in the morning and make some phone calls and go make some real estate money.
Right.
New Jersey and New York are a tad bit more difficult. The attorneys are a little bit more involved.
Right.
If you're a Pennsylvania agent and you've never done business in another state, you don't realize how much more involved and important you are in the real estate transaction in Pennsylvania. There's a lot more responsibility and action items that you have to take care of, where the attorneys really take care of stuff. Delaware, New Jersey, New York. I would have to say Georgia is another market that is booming. There's 400 people a day moving into the greater Atlanta metro area.
Wow.
Yeah, and what's also interesting, because people say, why are you down in Georgia? I found that there are so many people moving back and forth between Atlanta, Georgia, and Philadelphia.
Well, interesting.
It was a very interesting thing, and so that kind of happened. I was like, well, thank God Pennsylvania has reciprocity with Georgia, because it's very easy. And so, I closed like 6 deals, and I didn't even go down to Georgia. I just had someone else to take care of the showings and stuff.
Okay, so are you saying if you're licensed in Pennsylvania, you're automatically licensed in Georgia?
You just have to pay.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to take like any extra coursework. You can just pay because they have reciprocity.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. So that's interesting. Now, let me ask you this: how do you recruit team members if you do? Like, how does that work? Or is it through the coaching part that people say, "Hey, I really like what you're doing. Can I stay on your team or whatever?" What does that look like?
I would say probably 70% of the people on my team graduated my coaching program and, decided that being completely on their own wasn't for them. I'd say my niche is actually dual career agents. Almost everyone except for one person on my team, well, 2 now, because she finally got comfortable and quit her job to do real estate with me full time. But most people on my team and in my coaching program are dual career. And I get told all the time, like, oh, you're crazy, they're not productive. I probably have one of the highest producing pro coaching programs. I find that if someone already has a full-time job and they're willing to take on this extra career, this extra business, most of them are hustlers, and they're out here, they have goals they want to reach. And so I really appreciate that. So I like to be able to support them. And I always say I make real estate work for me. I don't work for real estate.
There you go. Okay, so let's get into the coaching part, because you said some super interesting stuff there about how most of your team members have a regular full-time job, or at least part-time job, something as far as that. So what does your coaching program look like? What are you coaching? What are you teaching?
Yeah, I say I do the A to Z to real estate. Some coaches kind of concentrate on your mindset, and then they do a lot of scripting and like cold calling, and that's important, and lead gen is very important. But I have people that are not comfortable picking up the phone and doing cold calls, and I'm gonna say now I've been real estate adjacent for 16 years. I've never made one cold call. Made a couple warm calls, but never a cold call. And so I really concentrate on the technical stuff, because there's like a barrier too with technology, and it's changed so much. We have like ChatGPT, and we have all these, G Suites and just all types of stuff. And I realized that most of my dual career agents, they're, I'd say the average age is probably like mid-30s. And so they may or may not be really up to speed with all this technology. So I also teach people how to use the computer, how to use Gmail appropriately, and all the tips and tricks, how to use ChatGPT, and how to generate leads. We're really heavy with social media, and how to do that. And that's how you help dual career agents, because they already have 8 to 10 hours of the day taken up, right? So I teach them how to hyper focus, how to use technology, and in order to generate leads, and to time block, and be super intentional about the things you're doing. So
okay, so because like the $1 million question is, how do I generate leads and those kind of things? So you're getting into coaching them how to use social media. Is that part of it? Of course, you said ChatGPT, but
social media, so that you can, be consistent about putting your name out there. And then, my number one lead gen thing, whether it's to recruit agents or to recruit buyers, sellers, whatever, is to host events.
Okay.
Yeah, and whether it's like an online event, like Eventbrite and Zoom, or it is an in-person event, like I have an in-person event tonight. I just feel like getting in front of people and them seeing your face, hearing your voice, putting both together, it starts to build like a level of trust that you don't get from cold calling. And I'm always educating, like even if it is for buyers and sellers, my goal is just to educate them about the process and system. And I feel like that provides so much value, to where if I'm just like doing a cold call with a script, script. It's kind of scripted, not as genuine. So I feel like that builds a stronger instant connection. They're like, wow, this woman, she didn't ask me for anything. She's not shoving paperwork for me to sign. She's just literally teaching me the nitty gritty about how to best sell my home, or how to buy a home, or what programs are available, or how to get started. And, you know, when you provide that much value, you don't ask for anything in return.
Right.
It just kind of happens naturally.
Okay, so if I'm an agent, dual career, you're going to really, I guess, tell them, hey, put content that's educating, you know, on social media, so people will start to gravitate and look at you as, I guess, the expert in that field. So, right, because if I'm an agent throwing an event, you know, may be tough to have, you know, buyers come to the event unless it's a first-time home buyer program or something like that, you know, or a seminar or something along those lines. Okay, so it's a lot of education, getting your name out there. Now, do you have, I guess, like a how should I say, like a system of saying, hey, you need to do X amount of posts, you need to do this, this is where you get your content, you know, those kind of things?
Oh yeah, we have like it's very scaled, and we have it like down to you know, like I am with Keller Williams, and most people know that in the $1 Million Real Estate Agent book, that there's page 189 in there that explains how many times you have to reach out and touch someone or communicate with them in order to get an appointment, and then how many appointments you need to close the deal. And that math, I mean, that's probability and statistics, right? So it really is true. Now, some people, they might be a little better at it and they need less conversation. Some are, it just depends on your approach. But, you know, I let agents know, like, when you're talking to people that know who you are, like either they're a coworker, you go to church together, you pass each other at the gym, you're going to have a better chance of closing that person than your stranger. So if you don't have a big sphere, because I have some agents that come from like out of state, and they're trying to get in real estate, so they don't have anyone here in the local area, so they're talking to all strangers. I'm like, it's going to take you more touches. So again, I'm going to say the C word, consistency. So you just have to be consistent and intentional. Like, I'm like, don't post regularly online for 2 weeks and then disappear for a month. So you just threw all that hard work out the window. Like, you have to be very intentional and organized about stuff. And yes, if you're dual career, you know, your sacrifice is going to be a little greater because you're already working all day, probably a family to take care of, and you're going to give up your, you know, reality TV time at night, or, you know, your free time.
Well, that may be a good thing.
Yeah, it might be a good thing, but, you know, I'm like, you just have to be consistent. And so, like, with my coaching, I'm not a coach. I don't make you talk to me every day. We don't have a meeting every day, because I want you to do the things that I've taught you every day. But I do have classes every Tuesday. I've been teaching at 12 o'clock and 7 o'clock at night, so twice on Tuesdays, for like the last 6 years in a row.
Okay. Okay, so now, how did your connection happen with that you're a pro coach with KW? How did that happen?
Yeah, so when I was dissolving my partnership with Remax, and the main reason for that is just being a franchisee of Remax. Unfortunately, I don't want to bash them, but they don't really concentrate on new agents, and that was my jam. And I was like, let me do this. So I dissolved that partnership, and I was interviewing people to be a broker for me. Because I wasn't licensed yet. I just wanted to still own my own brokerage. I wanted to provide this coaching. And so I was interviewing people, and some of them were KW associate brokers. And so word got out to Michelle McBride and John Clyde. They're like regional directors at the time. And they basically convinced me to partner with KW instead of like opening my own boutique brokerage. And they gave me a really good opportunity, and I really like it.
Okay. And then how long have you been associated with KW?
I think this coming January is going to be like year 6.
Okay, so a while.
Yeah.
So it's not brand new. Okay. And then you're from the Philadelphia area?
I am from all over the place. I was born in Florida.
I was going to say, you have a little accent.
Yeah. Learned to speak English in like the panhandle of Florida, so I can have like a southern drawl sometimes, but English was not like first
Now,
language.
what part of the panhandle?
Well, I was born in Hialeah, so South Florida, but I was like in Orlando area for a long time. We lived, and then I went in the military, and even though I was up here when I enlisted, they sent me back down to Okaloosa. Near Pensacola. Most people know Pensacola, so I was at Herbert Field Air Force Base and stationed there for a little while, and so I don't know, I just stuck.
No, the only reason I say that, I have a house in Destin.
Oh, you do? Oh, I love Destin.
So right when you said that, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, well,
Yeah.
where? I know that. I
Well,
know.
so this fun fact: George Clooney and Britney Spears and you have houses in
There you
Destin,
go.
Florida. So
Well, they followed me.
they followed you.
I was there
believe it.
first, you know.
I believe it. I believe it. So yeah, it's a great area there.
Great. Okay. So, one more question I have. Actually, two, but one more here. How did you feel comfortable coaching? Because you said you didn't have a license and you didn't sell real estate. So where did your information come from? How did you learn what you're teaching? That kind of thing in the very beginning.
Yeah, the people at Keller Williams I first met said that too. They're like, "How are you having success when you don't even have a license?" I said, "Well, just because I'm a license doesn't mean I didn't take a course."
Right.
And I'm an accounting degree, so I owned TA management consulting for almost 18 years. I've been
Right.
self-employed since like 2021. So when I got in the military, I was over being told what to do. So
Right.
I've been self-employed ever since. And I was doing small business consulting, accounting, bookkeeping, and that teaches you the very best ways to grow a business. And so any business has to lead generate. Any business needs to keep their finances in order. Any business owner and entrepreneur needs to be consistent. So I didn't care that it was real estate. I just treated all my real estate agents like these small business owners that they were and taught them how to grow a business.
Right.
And now that I've been real estate adjacent for so long, I mean, I've taken education courses for, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, New York, now Georgia. I'm in the middle of, I have 100 some hours of my Pennsylvania broker's course almost finished. So I'm beginning my broker's license. So, it was OJT for me too, as far as like the nuances with real estate, but running a business, I was
Right.
college educated for that. Did that in high school. It was something I was always interested in. My whole family's entrepreneurial, so I'm no stranger to having helped do payroll, and I wasn't even out of high school yet. So
Right.
some of that was natural. Some of it was just because it interests me. I like to read. I'm always learning. I have to because I have to stay ahead.
Right.
If I don't stay ahead, then what am I going to coach?
Right.
Like, ChatGPT wasn't around a few years ago. I had to learn that real quick and understand it. And so I'm always watching videos. I'm always reading. I'm always taking a course, even though, it's not required, if you
Right.
will. I feel like it's being a responsible coach and a leader, you have to do that.
Okay. So you sell real estate, you have buyers, you have listings.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And you coach. And then if you're outside of KW, is there coaching services that you offer?
Yeah, the legal name for the business is the Real Estate Pro Coach, like the Real Estate Pro Coach LLC. And then another agent friend of yours, Tiana McCurry,
Okay.
partnered with me this year, and we are your real estate coaches that's like our handle on Instagram and stuff. And so, yeah, there's like different ways and I like to be very accessible and I like to be affordable because mainly because I'm working with new agents.
Right.
So like I don't want them to feel like they have to go broke
Right.
to make money, but they still deserve the help. And so you can reach out to her or I through getprocoach.com. I think my number is on Google and everywhere.
Right.
Or through KW. So you don't have to join KW, although it's not a bad setup if you do.
Right.
But yeah, you can still get coaching from myself or Tiana through your real estate coaches. So.
Great. Okay. And then if somebody is, want to buy a house, sell a house, how would they get a hold of you through that?
The same. It's my email's my name, Tess Adams at kw.com. And like I said, my number's on Google. It's literally 302-883-9202. If you put Tess Adams, it's like the first thing that pops up.
There you go.
I don't really do much else.
You're famous.
Maybe I'm getting there. Maybe now that I'm on your show, I'm
There you go.
more famous.
There you go. Well, rumor has it, I'm almost at 40,000 subscribers. That you're going to guarantee me another 40,000 subscribers after your show, right?
Yeah, I'll share the video and say go follow and subscribe to Pat's show for sure.
There you go.
I watch your show, so.
Thank you. Okay, well, I really appreciate you being on the show. It was some really interesting information, especially being in so many different states and working with so many different people, and your story was, super interesting as well. Great. Okay, well, that's the Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez, where we talk everything real estate. Be sure to follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, and follow, of course, YouTube. That's where the show's going to air. YouTube, the Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez. Give me some likes. Really helps the algorithm. Also, a comment. Tell me some information you want or some guests you would like to see on the show. Remember, this show is everything real estate, no limits. Hope you enjoy the show once again, and I'll see you next week.